And I'd like to send fraternal greetings from Scotland to you all here in Cornwall. This is my first visit to your nation, but I hope it will not be the last. I am actually a member of Mebyon Kernow, but unfortunately my membership has lapsed, but before the day's out I will renew it. I would also like to thank you, a very belated thank you for your invasion, your march into England in 1497, given the fact that you were being taxed so that the English could declare war on Scotland. So thanks very much for that diversionary action. Very much appreciated. I want to go back to the year of my birth, although I don't look it. I am sadly some 50 years of age, and the reason I want to go back to 1961 is to look at the progress that the SNP have made over the last half century, and to see whether or not that is something which can perhaps help in terms of Mebyon Kernow and its way forward. And if you look at the European Union, Malta and Luxembourg both have populations smaller than Cornwall, are full members of the European Union, and there are many other countries within Europe much smaller than Cornwall, whether it's Liechtenstein, Iceland or whatever. So it's not about size, it's about vitality, it's about self-belief, it's about national self-confidence. And I think it's important to look at Cornwall and to see, look at all these other examples of success. In terms of referendum, I mean, I'm delighted to have so much support for Scotland's independence referendum. And will we win that referendum? Yes, we will win it. And I'll just tell you why we will win it. There have been 47 referendums since the Second World War. Of those, 42 have been won by the party supporting independence, and of two that have been lost, Malta and Montenegro, both were subsequently won in following referendums. Only Quebec and Bermuda have so far said no. In Quebec, it was by 1/10 of 1% that was actually lost. And to show how how the things can change so rapidly in politics, in 1957 there was a referendum in Malta which was actually won by the campaign calling for Malta to be fully integrated into the United Kingdom. The United Kingdom ignored it, and 7 years later Malta actually became an independent country. So things can change very rapidly in terms of politics. There is no news which can't be inflated to be bad news in Scotland. When jobs are created and companies move into Scotland, it seems to be ignored. But whenever there's bad news, it is of course magnified. This week alone, Amazon opened a new facility in Dunfermline, 950 jobs, and Michelin, 860 jobs in Dundee. And yet we hear repeatedly that independence is scaring off investors. Well, I've been talking to GSK, GlaxoSmithKline, about a £100 million investment in the North Ayrshire, where I have my constituency. It's just a few miles south of my constituency. And they tell me that their senior management, who have met Alex Salmond, but not just Alex Salmond, Nicola Sturgeon and John Swinney, who are senior members of our government, stand in equal to any politicians they have met, not just in the UK, but globally. So it's about self-confidence, about having the right people in place, and I think with Dick Cole you have someone who's an inspirational leader who can take this party forward. And look what happened to one of your major foes in this part of the world, the Liberal Democrats. I know there are certain people who don't want to use those words. My wife is one who has a pathological hatred of the Liberal Democrats, I have to say. I'm not quite as bad, but when you meet some of the former parliamentarians in the Scottish Parliament, it's hardly a wonder. Now, they had 9 Scottish parliamentary seats on the Scottish mainland. The SNP took all of them, and in Caithness, which has been Lib Dem country for donkey's years, we won it by a 7,500 majority. We took Asquith's old seat in North East Fife as well. Alex Salmond had won Gordon from 3rd place in 2007 against the Lib Dems, and this year got a majority of over 15,000 votes, taking 65% of the overall share, and a seat where the SNP had never traditionally done well. So it can be achieved, and there are many issues here to go on. Jonathan talked very eloquently about the economic circumstances, and of course to add to that you have the insult, and it is an insult, of the Devon Wall situation, where Cornwall's very territorial integrity is under threat, something which I know everyone in here finds unacceptable, and I would hope others would too. But you know, it's easy to stand up and be rhetorical, but you have to be in a party which can show it can deliver. And one of the reasons why the SNP has actually increased its number of seats from 47 to 69 at the election just passed was because of our success in government. When we formed a minority administration with 47 out of the 129 seats, my own seat was won by 48 votes, the smallest majority in the country. We decided to stick by our principles, because we said we would only go into coalition with another party if they pledged to allow a referendum on independence. The other parties said no, so we said, I'm sorry, we will try and run as a minority administration, and we were able to do that. They said it would last 6 weeks, it lasted the full 4 years, and what were we able to deliver for the people of Scotland in real terms? Well, Labour had built, and the Liberal coalition had built 6 council houses in 4 years. Despite the recession, we built 3,298, and we intend to build 30,000 affordable houses over the next 5 years. And when looking at MK policy, it's remarkable the similarities with our own. We will not actually allow any of the new council houses to be bought by city tenants, because we want to retain that stock for future years and future generations. The genie has been let out of the bottle, and it's no going to be put back in. And it doesn't matter the promises of Danegeld that come our way, that, you know, we'll get an extra power here, we'll get an extra power there. All the other unionist parties opposed any further powers for Scotland in 2007. After our victory, they cobbled together a group of the great and the good, so to speak, called the Calman Commission. Really representative of Scottish society. Of its 15 members, 6 were members of the House of Lords and 3 were Knights of the Realm. So that shows you how representative they were of the Scots. And they came up with 1 or 2 wee bits and bobs to improve Scotland. But I'm sorry, we've moved way beyond Calman. And Jonathan talked about what a real union could have been. And in actual fact, you know, if this had been a federal union of equality, of equal nations, maybe things would have been different. But over 3 centuries in Scotland have broken promises of being marginalised and ignored. A better deal for Cornwall, a better deal for the people in this nation, to be proud of its identity, proud of its history, its language, its culture, because Cornwall is different, and you have a wonderful future ahead of you.